I'm backstage at the Barrowlands in Glasgow with two members of one of my favourite bands. It's Russell and Tom from Editors. How are you, Tom?
I'm great, absolutely amazing. We were last night was brilliant in Edinburgh, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really good gig. Good one for the start of like proper tour, I guess. Yeah, really good.
Our album was out yesterday, so yeah, it was all good.
What makes it about Scottish audiences that makes coming to play in this crazy part of the world such a big reward for you guys?
We started off, when we toured in a splitter bus, and we spent quite a lot of time up here. Inverness, Ragmore, Dundee. It was like we were actually doing lots of all the small towns rather than just Glasgow and Edinburgh. So I think it's just getting that core fan base, and they just seem very loyal and passionate, and that always comes across in the gigs.
Now, Tom, when you see the Barrowlands name looming on your tour itinerary, does the butterflies start in your stomach and the heart start beating that a little bit faster?
I definitely look forward to it. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about butterflies. I don't tend to get too many butterflies anymore. I was a bit nervous last night, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Before going on stage, the first one of the tour. But it's just a great room. It's a great room, but it's not like a lot of the venues are all just like you're in a different town, but it looks the same. This one's very, it's got character. It's definitely, you know where you are when you're in the back of the room, when you're on the stage. It's like, yeah.
Russell, does it become a real kind of feather in your cap when you can tick the Barrowland box?
Yeah. I mean, when I started going to see bands, and I'd go and see bands at the Wolves Civic, and Barrowlands was the place that was always on those posters you'd buy afterwards, so I was always familiar with the name. So yeah, it is. I've had the metal dreams come true.
Now, over the past few weeks in the programme, we've been playing tracks from your splendid third album, which is called In This Light and On This Evening. How were the musical foundations laid for that, Tom?
Kind of like they did on the last record, but on all of our records, I start the songs and send them out to the band, and we were doing that when we finished touring the last record with REM the end of last summer, and it just came together very quickly. The first song that we started to write whilst still in the summer, whilst playing festivals, Glastonbury and things like that, was called No Sound But the Wind, and it was a bit more traditional in its the way we played it. Chris was on guitar, and we felt like the kind of inklings of a formula creep into what we do. We felt like we were going through the same little routine, and that was a bit scary. So when we finished touring, we definitely knew we had to try and change things.
Russell, the album, of course, follows on your two previous records, The Back Room and An End Has a Start. What musically did you try to do differently? What was with the approach this time around?
I think people will hear the synthesizers. It's one of the first things that hits you on the record, and it was just when we got into the studio, and we just wanted to do some riffs and things on synths, and it just made sense, and that's what we've taken further on this album, and it was a lot of fun to do.
Tom, you have been quoted as saying that on this record you wanted to, push the Editor's sound to a new territory and almost make machines more human. What did you mean by that?
Because making electronic records or being aware of other electronic records, the thing I don't like about some of them is they feel very mechanical and very emotionless, and you can't too plastic. So we wanted to make a record that was electronic, but none of those things. That had, we played it live like a rock band. We played it in a room together, and it meant it had little defects, and it didn't sound perfect, I guess.
Because that's the criticism that's most often levelled at you guys, that the music's very electronic, and by its very nature it's a bit detached and a bit cold. Does that bother you when people say things like that?
I don't know. You kind of... You grow thicker skin, I think. I think we just pay less attention to the negative criticism. Equally, you kind of have to pay less attention to the good reviews you get as well. Take it all with a pinch of salt, because these days there's so much opinion out there. Like, it's just an ocean of opinion with the internet and all the different magazines and webzines, and they're all conflicting. It's like the only person you should trust is yourself.
Now, London has coloured this album very much. Why has the capital city been so inspiring for you?
Purely because it's been my home for nearly 5 years now, and I think my understanding of the place is increased, and it filtered into the lyric writing. I think off the back of the last album, which was very personal and kind of detailed, in a confused way, some things that happened to me personally, this one I'm more kind of looking out at other people and where I was when I was writing. So London, yeah, and coupled with my, like I said, I don't know, better understanding of the place, it seems to have filtered into most of the songs.
A few weeks ago in the programme we played the title track. There's a great line in it which says, "On this evening London's become the most beautiful thing I've seen." What is the beauty for you?
That was I guess it's any kind of these big kind of man-made cities that sit so prominently on the skyline. Every now and you kind of take for granted, but every now and again, I think it was that cliched thing, the hour between night and day, and it was a stormy, cloudy night, but it was just took my breath away and inspired me to go away and write that. So I think the song's littered with little things like that, which is awe and the beauty of the place, but also the kind of seedy, dark kind of songs like The Boxers, kind of violent world and a scary world, and I think it's about trying to get the two things in there.